It's the first day of grade 9, and I'm walking into my first class at a new school. I'm expecting the usual. Rows of desks arranged in straight lines, everyone facing the teacher. But instead, I found myself in a room with a large table at its center. No front, no back, just a circular table where everyone could see each other. I froze in the doorway, wondering if I'd accidentally walked into a staff conference room. Was this really social studies? A few students began to trickle in, casually taking seats around the table. I watched them, hesitating. I took a seat. Moments later, the teacher walked in, and instead of heading to a podium or writing her name on the board, she pulled out a chair and sat down with us at the table. This was unexpected. She looked around the room, made eye contact with each of us, and then, without any preamble, threw out a question. What do you think it felt to live during the Renaissance, a time when everything was changing? Silence. I glanced around, expecting someone to raise their hand or for her to call on some poor soul. But instead, one of my peers leaned forward and began sharing his thoughts. Another jumped in, building on his ideas. Soon, the room was alive with conversation, ideas bouncing back and forth across the table. It was quite unsettling. This wasn't the passive note-taking session that I was used to. The teacher wasn't lecturing. She was conversing, listening, occasionally guiding the discussion, but never dominating it. Turns out, this was not a regular teaching style. It was a method of collaborative learning. In our classes, we didn't rely on lectures or textbooks alone. Instead, we learned through discussion, debate, and the sharing of diverse perspectives. Each voice carried equal weight around the table, and every opinion was an opportunity for deeper understanding. Here, I became not just a passive recipient of information. Rather, I'm an active participant in my own learning journey. I must admit that I was previously an introvert. I often hesitated to raise my hand or share my thoughts, especially in class. But in this collaborative environment, I was encouraged, actually required to speak up. At first, it was daunting. I wondered if my contributions would even be valued. But as I listened to my peers, I realized that they were just as eager to hear my perspective as I was to hear theirs. This really made me appreciate not just the content, but the people around me. Their stories, what mattered to them, and how their skills and experiences enriched our collective understanding. Around the same time, I joined the school jazz band as the guitarist. Now, jazz is a genre that is built on improvisation and synergy. As the guitarist, I provided the foundation of the song through the chords I play. This role requires me to be attuned to my fellow musicians, anticipating their movements and complementing their sounds. While each musician brings out their unique flair, it's the way we listen and respond to each other that creates harmony. I didn't realize it in the beginning, but it was this collaborative aspect of jazz that I fell in love with. In a way, it mirrors the learning environment that I thrive in, one where contributing your individual voice while supporting the collective is key to creating something truly extraordinary. This began to influence how I interacted with others and how I approached challenges. And it didn't just shape my work in the classroom or in music, it extended to something else I've been intrigued by for a long time: business and entrepreneurship. The idea of building something from scratch and finding solutions to real-world problems, that really drew me in. In my first year competing in a major entrepreneurship challenge, I was a participant, nervous but excited. Our task was to come up with a startup idea and develop a working prototype within 48 hours. What really helped us snag the title that year was recognizing how each of my teammates had unique strengths to contribute. One was great with coding, another with marketing, and I found myself as the glue bringing it all together. By the end of the competition, we had a functional prototype, an AI-powered customer service chatbot. We won not only because of any single person's brilliance, but because we figured out how to leverage everyone's skills in a way that allowed us to collaborate effectively. In the following year, I returned to the same competition, but this time as the team lead. I thought my role would be to direct and oversee the project, but I quickly realized that my role was not just leading. It was about enabling collaboration. I found myself modeling the very same methods I had seen in my classes, watching how my teachers brought out the best in us by guiding, listening, and facilitating discussion rather than dictating what to do. In a way, I'd become the same kind of enabler I admired in my teachers. By the third year, I actually hosted the competition. It felt surreal to have gone from participant to leader to now organizing the entire event. But it felt natural because for me, this competition was always about bringing people together to solve problems collaboratively. Hosting the event gave me the chance to step back and create the same collaborative space for others that had been so impactful in my own experience. And while we're on the subject of collaboration, I have to admit, it even applies to how I play my video games. In a space where many players want to be the carry in the team, dominating and leading, I found that being a team player and bringing out the best in my teammates is a far better way to win. Through all these experiences, one lesson has become increasingly clear to me. Collaboration isn't just a useful skill. It is vital to achieving anything meaningful. Whether it's engaging in deep conversations in the classroom, improvising in a jazz ensemble, teaming up for entrepreneurship challenges, and yes, even playing League of Legends. The idea is that when people come together, we create something greater than the sum of our parts. Collaboration isn't just a skill. It's a way of approaching life that opens doors to innovation, understanding, and remarkable achievements. So think about how you can cultivate it in your school and workplace, how you can nurture it in your community and society, and how you can contribute your unique voice while supporting the collective. Because it's through collaboration that we not only elevate our own potential, but also contribute to something truly extraordinary. Thank you.